So hey guys, so few days back we made a video called the Subregions. Well, it's some continents divisions, that is, but some of them have even more small names such as Gold Coast and Iberia. So I thought to make a video about it. So firstly, all the rules. Here, firstly, we need to understand what I am talking about. So the subregions, which you have to watch my subregions video to understand, have some more small things, such as, okay, I don't remember much, but I can remember that there were some Middle Africa, West Africa thing, and so there are more divisions about it in the Gold Coast. More on that later. So like Cascadia, Iberia, these are more subregions like that, but on a different way, something like that. So firstly, let's look at from north to south. So firstly is Scandinavia. In here we have Finland, Sweden, Norway, Iceland, and Greenland, and Denmark also. Yeah. So, but there is also Karlia, a part of Russia. It's a Nordic country, maybe if we say a Nordic part, but it's also more of a Scandinavian part. So this is Scandinavia, and why I am saying this is because it's not peninsula video. Remember, it's not the peninsula video, so you should remember. But actually, this is also a real peninsula, but we are not talking about it now. Now we will also talk about what if they became a country. So firstly, this thing is really interesting. Well, actually it was unified at one time. It was called the Kalmar Union, and it was most of Scandinavia, I didn't say all of, such as Greenland, Iceland, and these parts such as southern Finland and Karlia, but it was most of the parts which we recognize as Scandinavia in Europe, which have that. Only the exception is southern Finland and a little bit of Karlia, but it's mostly the same. Well, it was unified by the Denmark or Vikings, I should say. So we are going to the Balkans now. No, actually Stans are not like that much like subregions, but I'm gonna say something to you first. There's also East Turkestan, also known as Xinjiang, but it's mostly East Turkestan. So I just use all those back names and use them, not real classification. So this might be not true, but still, it's mostly we should classify as Stan. This area is the Stan region, and we should say that this region is mostly landlocked. It does not have any coast except for this tiny little part of the map. At Karachi and the Thar deserts, and this part, the west of Thar desert, it's there. Also, it's a little south of it's a little south of this Afghanistan, but we might have more coasts. But if in the old days there were. Oh, and I forgot to say you something, another rule. Actually, we can say that the colonial powers, I am talking about Europe basically, okay, precisely the western part of Europe, which colonized the most parts of the world. Yeah, so they made the border by themselves. So see, here is a tiny bit strip of Afghanistan. That's not our topic today, but I'm just giving you an exception of how borders work. In the old times, in the medieval times, this part was colonized by Russia, or shall I say they were conquered by Russia, and this part of Pakistan was colonized by Britain. So this part was the part of Britain at that time, but soon they decided to give Afghanistan a buffer zone between them. So something like that I have written here, but that's not the real thing we are talking about. But what is Stan United? Actually, it's not pretty much easy due to only Karachi will be the port city and mostly will be landlocked, which means only the Caspian Sea and this Aral Sea will make their most of water purified, and also they're really poorly developed, so it's not pretty easy to keep them still on one piece, otherwise they are gonna be broke. So they need some kind of political support from a superpower or a regional power, so otherwise they're not gonna be more, they're gonna broke. Yeah, that's the main problem. Okay, so now let's go to the Balkans. So the Balkans actually have mostly Yugoslavia, Romania, Bulgaria, and Greece, Croatia. No, actually these are only the parts. So the Balkans also consists a tiny bit of Istanbul. The largest city on Europe, depending on how you count the largest city. So let's go to the next thing. It's the Caucasus. Caucasus are the main region Hitler invaded. The main region Hitler lost the plan Barbarossa. That's for sure. But actually it's an oil-rich region of Europe itself. So it's called Caucasus. United today will be really easy, so I'm not saying here anything. They will just smoothly go united, except for the religious things. But it will be mostly Christian due to Georgia and Armenia. But Azerbaijan has some problems. Let's go next, and we finally go to Iberia, the last thing we are going to talk about in Europe today. So Iberia actually is Portugal and Spain, but reuniting it today will be a nightmare. Just see the documents of the 15th century. You will be surprised to see how much Portugal did revolts. So next we go to Gold Coast, all the way up to Africa. This is the main region from where gold comes from, except for China and other parts of the world. In Africa, this is mostly mined here. This is a really rich region, and if you see my Bitterwell's video, you might know that all of this area is mostly filled with gold, right? So that's the thing we are going to talk about. That's the main thing. reuniting it today will be impossible because of all the civil wars and things that are gonna occur here. It's very unlikely that even a single superpower will help them. So let's go next in Indochina. We can also call it South China if we talk about it, due to it's mostly under China, but it's also called Indochina because of Myanmar. It was a part of the Indian subcontinent, and so Indochina. The French gave this name maybe. There's also Korea. Korea is really better, but yeah, it's good, but we have some problems here. Every supreme leader lives here. Supreme. Okay, there will be a lot of problems reunifying. Basically, it's covered with the Yellow Sea and the Sea of Japan, but reunifying is impossible. And China. Okay, there had been a lot of wars occurring in this region. I will just say this thing. So last on our list, it's Cascadia. It goes to a little bit of Oregon, Washington, and British Columbia. I will rather say it Columbia. No, not that Columbia. B Columbia. That's good. So this region is B Columbia, controlled by Canada, and this region is the USA's part. It was in the old times called Oregon, and it was shared between both the British and the US. So I can't say that why it was before even Canada got independent, but that's not our topic. So this is the main part of Cascadia, and it wants real independence. Well, it might be on the independence video, but it's a little more, say it's in this video due to it's more like a sub-region, and we also call it its own name. So that was the main sub-regions, and that's that. And bye bye guys.